a lot. Here's Scanabu to the end zone. Touchdown.
Wait, timeout. The Giants are winning? This man right here, Brian Daboll, is actually winning? The New York Giants, as massive underdogs, as a team with just one win, as a team that just a couple of days ago lost to the winless New Orleans Saints, as a team that looks dysfunctional in so many ways, are winning the ballgame against the defending champions and a team that started 4-0? Really? Wow, I gotta be honest. I'm shocked by this result. Really, I am. And the good news for the Giants is not only are they winning, but they get the ball to start the second half. So if you can get a stop here before the halftime break, you position yourselves really nicely going forward. Quite the way to start off week 6, if I do say so myself. At least something's going right this week for one New York sports team. The Eagles have the ball near midfield at the 43-yard line. A first down gets them into Jake Elliott's range for a makeable field goal. So it's crucial if you're this man right here, especially seeing your luck against kickers hitting 60-yard field goals for some reason, that you stop the Eagles short of the sticks here. The good news is that the Eagles have no timeouts, so any mistakes on their end will be extremely costly for them because they can't stop the clock. First down, and Jalen Hurts fires an incomplete pass. All right, that's a good start. Second down, and Jalen Hurts, once again, fires an incomplete pass. Now, you've just got to hold him on third down, and you're good. All you have to do if you're this man right here is not do anything stupid on third down, and you'll go into the half with the lead. No questions asked. And good news, the Eagles are going to do something stupid for you. They're blissfully unaware of the play clock. They have no idea what's going on, and they're about to take a delay of game penalty. They're not going to get the snap off. They're going to lose 5 yards. They're not going to be set, and
They get it away. They don't have a timeout.
Oh, the Giants called a timeout.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Explain that.
I'm sorry, what? You called a timeout? You, the New York Giants, called a timeout with the Eagles getting ready to back up 5 yards? You bailed the Eagles out of their own mistake? Why on earth would you do that?
Stays in the block. Hurts. He's going to run with it. And he's going to be stopped.
A lot of things that people would like to do over there in those last 2 or 3 plays on both sides.
I mean, it didn't end up mattering in the end, but my God, welcome to dumb decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something to look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something to look awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of New York Giants head coach, Brian Daboll. Ooh, man, Daboll is hanging on by a thread. There was a lot of talk that if the Giants lost this game and dropped to 1-5, especially with a long week due to having just played on Thursday Night Football, that Daboll would be the first coach fired. Obviously, that's not happening anymore. The Giants won the game, quite convincingly I might add. And for the first time since the Eli Manning years, dare I say it, this team has legitimate hope, as the drafting has not only been better over the last 2 years, but Jackson Dart looks like an absolute stud, and Cam Scanabu is easily one of the most fun players in football. And it will forever be a mystery how he lasted until day 3 before someone decided to draft him. But sometimes with this team, the coaching makes me lose my mind. Sometimes with this team, Brian Daboll will do something so head-scratching and so mind-numbingly stupid that I wonder how qualified he is to be running the team and running the operation. And this was absolutely one of those moments. It didn't end up mattering in the end, but oh man, was this one of those moments. So with that being said, let's take a look at why taking a timeout right as the Eagles are about to get called for a delay of game penalty is a really bad idea. And before I go any further, I should note that I live stream all the primetime games on here, so people who were on stream got to see my reaction in real time to this madness. Just to prove that this wasn't hindsight bias, And just to show you what was going through my mind in real time when Daboll decided to pull the trigger on this timeout, here's my honest-to-God reaction when this happened. Because I, like most people watching this game, genuinely couldn't believe that the Giants were the ones to take a timeout and help out their opponent in the process. 3rd and 10, meanwhile. 10 on the play clock. They have not broken the huddle yet. Gotta go quick. They're still not set with 3 on the clock. 2, they don't have a timeout. You're kidding me. The Giants took a timeout? What? The Giants took a timeout. They weren't set. They weren't set. Why the Giants take a timeout? The Eagles weren't set. There were 2 seconds on the play clock, and they were still getting in their stance. It was going to be a delay of game. Why did Daboll bail them out? Why did Daboll just bail the Eagles out? They weren't set. All right, Philly gifted a second chance on 3rd down for some reason. I can't explain why. I can't explain why. With that in mind, and with everyone seemingly knowing that this timeout made no sense, except for the head coach himself, which is kind of a problem, let's examine why calling a timeout is a bad idea. A general rule of thumb is that if you're calling a timeout and it helps the opposing team without helping out your team, it's not a good timeout. And man, did this timeout help the Eagles out. At this stage, the goal for the Eagles is to get the first down and get enough yardage to try a field goal and tie it up. If they get 10 yards and get the first, they at least give Jake Elliott a shot to try the field goal. So I get the idea of wanting to have your defense set up to avoid any miscommunication, especially seeing as the Eagles have time to run some plays to the sideline, or even a play to the middle of the field if it's quick enough and gets the first down so that they can spike it. However, if you wanted to call a timeout with everyone set and with 10 seconds left on the play clock, that's one thing. That happens all the time. I'm not going to fault you for it. But this was not that at all. The Eagles were late breaking the huddle. The Eagles had no idea what they wanted to do. With 7 seconds left, this is what it looked like. You had guys still breaking the huddle. No one was set or even remotely in position for the play. With 4 seconds on the play clock, half of the offensive linemen aren't in their stance. A.J. Brown needs to get to the top of the screen, and he's nowhere near that or in position to get set. Remember, they have to be set for a full second to avoid having a penalty get called and having a flag thrown. This is all to say that there is no universe, none whatsoever, where the Eagles have enough time to get this play off. They are going to be called for a delay of game as they have no timeouts to work with and can't stop the clock. Heck, right before the clock hits 1 second, literally right before it hits, you've got A.J. Brown not even in his stance. The tight end, Dallas Goedert, putting his hands up all confused, like he has no idea where to line up or what to do. And you've got the right guard, number 56, Tyler Steen, looking back at Hurts, wondering what to do. They're not getting this off. You're going to back the Eagles up 5 yards, and all you have to do is literally do nothing. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. Do nothing. You don't have to think. You don't have to force the other team to make a mistake. You don't have to blink or breathe or move or anything like that. All you have to do is literally do nothing, and the Eagles back up to the 37-yard line with a delay of game penalty. And that's huge for a couple of reasons. Number one, it makes it way tougher to convert the 3rd down. Entering this week, there have been 176 instances of a team facing 3rd and 10 this season. On those 176 plays, on 70 occasions, the offense got the first down, meaning that teams are converting roughly 40% of the time this season on 3rd and 10. Compare that to 3rd and 15, where teams faced that 44 times this season, and on those 44 instances, only 8 times did the team pick up the first down. On 3rd and 10, you've got a 40% conversion rate. On 3rd and 15, you've got an 18% conversion rate. That is a substantial difference. The odds go down by more than 50% if you back them up 5 yards. And it's not like this is any old 3rd down. This is a 3rd down where, because of where the line to gain is, and because of how much time is left in the half, if the first down is picked up, the Eagles will attempt a field goal down by 3 points to try and tie it up. In other words, if you stop them from getting the first down, you'll go into the half with the lead. If you don't stop them, there's a chance we're all tied up. Number 2, it takes away the middle of the field. If it's 3rd and 10, theoretically, the Eagles can go over the middle of the field. With 15 seconds left, that's more than enough time to call a quarterback draw or a seam route to get the first, get everyone to the line, clock the ball, and then kick the field goal. But on 3rd and 15, starting at the 38-yard line instead of the 43-yard line, that's a bit trickier, because it's more likely than not that the clock will run out. What this means is that on 3rd and 10, you still have to cover most of the field, while on 3rd and 15, your job gets a heck of a lot easier, as if it wasn't easy enough already, based on the statistics, because you don't need to protect the middle, and you can just worry about the sidelines and worry about the boundaries. So it is obviously in your best interest to back the Eagles up 5 yards. And you are literally going to do that if you don't call a timeout. The pro of calling a timeout is they are able to get your defense set. The pro of not calling a timeout is they are able to get your defense set while also backing the Eagles up 5 yards. Gee, the best case scenario for not calling a timeout sounds way better than the best case scenario for calling the timeout. Seeing as I'd much rather have the Eagles facing 3rd and 15 at the 38 than facing 3rd and 10 at the 43. The con of calling a timeout is that the Eagles have 3rd and 10. The con of not calling a timeout is that the Eagles have 3rd and 15. Gee, the worst case scenario for not calling a timeout sounds way better than the worst case scenario for calling the timeout. Which raises the obvious question: why the actual heck would you call a timeout there? Normally, I'm criticizing coaches for not taking timeouts, but this is the one time I'm criticizing you for doing it, because it truly makes no sense. This is one of the few instances in football where it's binary and where there are only 2 options, because there's no universe where the Eagles get the snap ball properly. Either you call timeout and it remains 3rd and 10, or you don't and it becomes 3rd and 15. That's it. There's nothing else that could happen. There are no other hypotheticals to consider. It's an either-or situation. And that's what makes this so frustrating. All Brian Daboll had to do was literally do nothing. All this man had to do was not outthink himself, and the Eagles had basically no chance at scoring on the drive. If Brian Daboll was on the sideline picking grass, the Giants would be in a better spot than they ended up being in. Instead, everyone becomes puzzled at the end of the first half by Daboll's inability to manage the clock. After the game, no one, not one reporter, asked Brian Daboll and asked this man right here about what the heck he was thinking by taking the timeout. I'll give the New York media, usually ready to grill anyone at the stake for breathing the wrong way, a pass on this one, seeing as, number 1, the play didn't matter in the end. Number 2, the Giants won the game. And number 3, there were way more pressing questions, such as questions about what happened in the medical tent, the complaints that Daboll had during the sequence of 4 straight tush pushes, and the play of Jackson Dart. So we might never know the answer to that question of why he called the timeout and seemingly helped the Eagles out for no reason. Maybe we get it on a follow-up day. Who's to say? At this very moment, we're just left to our imaginations as to why Daboll called the timeout. But even if it didn't end up mattering in the end, and even if the Eagles didn't end up scoring on that drive, it was a really freaking stupid timeout to take nonetheless. It's coaching decisions like that timeout that make you wonder if Brian Daboll is the right guy to lead this team going forward, and make you wonder if the Giants lost and that timeout was the difference, if he would still be employed at the time this video was posted. So what did we learn from all of this? If the play clock is running down on the opposing team, and the opposing team is not going to get the snap off, and the opposing team does not have any timeouts, then do not help them out and give them a timeout so they don't have to take the delay of game penalty. Taking a timeout to get your defense set is one thing, but if you're getting your defense set for a play that would never even happen because there was no chance that the other team would even call it play in the first place, then you should probably reevaluate your timeout management and your thought process behind calling one in that spot. If the other team is about to get a penalty, more often than not, you shouldn't bail them out of not getting the penalty. And if you're Brian Daboll and you're on the hot seat, you really need to think about how you manage the clock going forward if you want to keep your job. You survived for now, but decisions like this will not help your cause going forward. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Check out our live streaming schedule for the next few days. We're live every single day on this channel, whether we're covering a sporting event or playing GeoGuessr or just taking your requests. So make sure you like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single time that we go live and so that you can join this community. Also, thanks to all our members and our Patreon supporters who get exclusive perks like their name at the end of each video, members-only Q&A streams, and cool emojis to use on videos and during streams. See how you can join this community and become a member or a Patreon member by clicking the link in the description below.